Hey there, folks! Today I get to do a record review on this YouTube channel for a change. And what is it gonna be? Take a look. Birds of a Feather. They're adapted from a Little Golden book and distributed by Kid Stuff Records and Tapes. During the 80s, Kid Stuff released a number of tie-in records to popular franchises of the time, including a Looney Tunes. Look at how I'm drawn there. How I've got green eyes and that white mask or whatever is surrounding them. So the bird thing, we'll get to that in a bit. It says here on the back how it's like to encourage children to read and stuff. You know, a lot like the ones like Peter Pan Records or Golden or Disney, stuff like that. It even says, see the pictures, hear the story, read the book, just like the Disney read-alongs. And all. Thank you, Mr. Hand. Put this on because it's actually pretty interesting to listen to. Alright. Now the thing about these read-alongs is that it'll be easier positioned that way. The thing about these read-alongs is that they don't have any character voices or anything. The whole thing is just read by a single narrator, like in the old Golden or Disney read-alongs. But it's still got a funky 80s background music track with synthesizers and stuff. I guess they weren't able to sample Carl Stallings' music very easily. Alright, I'll open the book and start the record. Yes, it says here, copyright 1977 by Warner Brothers. But that's when the original book came out. This record version came out in 1984. And you can tell by the music. A little help? Thank you.
Hello everyone, and welcome to your Tweety and Sylvester read-along book. Every time you hear this sound, it means it's time to turn the page in
That might get annoying after a while.
Now if you're ready, we'll start Birds of a Feather. And remember to turn the page every time you hear the sound. Granny was going to her sister's house for a visit. She left lots of birdseed for Tweety in his cage. She left lots of cat food for Sylvester in his bowl.
Look at the green eyes they drew me with in these books.
Sylvester a warning. Now you be good while I'm away, she said. Don't bother my little canary while you're under my roof, Sylvester. I expect you to behave yourself. Meow. Sylvester rolled his eyes and twitched his tail politely as if to say, of course, Granny. You know you can trust me.
Yeah, right. I know how these things go.
He smiled to himself and shook his head. That crazy putty-tat, he thought. He might fool Granny, but he doesn't fool me one bit.
Yes, Tweety's not quite a bird brain like I thought he was.
Picked up her overnight bag. I'll be back tomorrow, she said. Then she climbed into her little car and chugged off down the road.
Yeah, there are some occasional sound effects, but not very many.
Sylvester watched her go. He was very happy. The coast is clear, he chuckled. I've been trying to get at that bird for years. With Granny Granny out of the house, this is my big chance.
Boy, let's suffer succotash. Listen to that sympathizer.
Like everyone, Sylvester had his good side and his bad side. And now his good side spoke up. You made a promise to Granny.
I thought my good side would be smaller and on my shoulder.
You behave yourself while she was away. Remember? Sylvester frowned. He didn't like to be reminded of his promises.
No duh.
Just then, the bad
Now my eyes are yellowish.
Hold everything, said Bad Sylvester. You promised to be good while you were under
The bad
Granny.
side would be like a small devil version of me on my other shoulder.
Is coax Tweety outside. Once he's out of the house, zip zap.
I never said zip zap in all my life.
Side argued and argued, but the bad side finally won. With Sylvester, it always did.
Of course.
The sneaky old cat hurried into the backyard. He paced up and down, thinking hard. How can I get that canary out of his cage? And out of the house, he muttered.
Yeah, the reading pace is a little small. Oh, probably so that younger kids can kind of follow along more easily.
That putty tat is plotting something, he chirped to himself. I'll have to keep alert. Just then, Sylvester paced past the garage and spied a can of yellow paint, and it gave him an idea. He grabbed a brush and splashed himself with yellow paint. He cut a big beak and some tail feathers out of yellow cardboard. Then he bent his arms to look like wings.
Oh, come on now. I can pull off much better disguises than that. Remember my female dog getup?
Great, he said. Now to give the word to that bird. Cheep, chirrup, chirp.
Oh, that's
Wearing his
stupid.
disguise, Sylvester hopped into the house. He tried to chirp like a canary, but he sounded more like a concrete mixer.
Hey!
Hi.
You sound kind of like one too, don't you?
I'm your
You
cousin
chirp me.
Chirper, here to visit you. Tweetings, said Tweety, who wasn't fooled at all. It's a groovy day.
Seriously, they made me say
Why
groovy?
stay cooped up in your cage? Let's go outside and have fun. Okay, said Tweety, and out they went. Now he's mine, Sylvester thought happily. He dived at Tweety, but the little bird zipped away. That cat broke his promise to Granny, Tweety said to himself. And now he's going to get a good lesson. Sylvester crept closer. Let's play football, Cousin Tweety. I'll tackle you.
Now here's some real groove. Here's some really funky music.
Tweety kept dodging.
That sounds just like Big Ben.
Clock in the town hall struck 12.
Sound like to just use the soundbite of Big Ben.
Time for lunch, Tweety announced. There was a sack of birdseed in the garage. Tweety poured out a big heaping pan for
Feeling
his visitor.
funky.
That's lunch, Sylvester croaked.
Some of those dry when I'm disguised as a bird make you look like Big Bird from Sesame Street.
Right, Cousin Chirper? Sylvester groaned, but he had to keep up pretenses, so he forced himself to eat it all. I don't feel so hot, Sylvester said after finishing his meal. What you need is some dessert, Tweety announced. He flew off to the meadow.
Tweety would be a better
and soon
dessert.
came back with a large, fat worm.
Ooh.
Sylvester took
He really
one
eats
look.
those?
His face turned green. Then it turned blue. Then it turned purple.
Looks like it's all Fritos colors at the same
I
time.
think I'll skip dessert if you don't mind. The doctor just put me on a worm-free diet.
That's it for the first side of the record. Well, these were also released on cassette tape, and they had the whole story on a single side like that, so you didn't have to stop there and turn the record over. But you can see what I mean how this story is. How it's making me look stupider than ever, too. Not that I'm really stupid anyway. Let's see now. It makes sense that they would still do stuff like that in the 80s, featuring us Looney Tunes, since we were still popular on Saturday morning reruns and stuff, even if they were edited for content and violence. Alright, let's get to the second part of this here.
Sylvester felt worse, and all he wanted to do was to lie down quietly. But Tweety wouldn't let him.
More funky music.
You have to build a nest, he said, so you'll have a cozy place to sleep tonight. Soon he had Sylvester rushing back and forth, carrying twigs, leaves, and bits of string in his cardboard beak.
Look at that. Doesn't have any strings or anything to hold it on.
Tweety. But now he was too busy and too tired to try. Cousin Tweety,
I guess that cardboard beak is a snug fit or something.
Exercise. I really must take a nap. With a sigh, Sylvester curled up under a tree and fell asleep. But Tweety had other plans.
Oh.
He flew into the garage and found a box of soap flakes on the shelf. He carried the box to a tree branch, right over the spot where Sylvester was snoring. Tweety began to shake out the soap flakes. The little white flakes drifted down around Sylvester.
Ah, yes, the old phony snow trick, using soap flakes.
Wake up, it's snowing!
It's one of the oldest tricks in the book. Even Speedy Gonzales tried on my friend Daffy Duck in one of his crummy later shorts. Which I'm glad I wasn't working for Warner Brothers by that time anymore, thank goodness.
It's snowing, Cousin Chirper. Winter is here, he said. And now, it's time for us to fly south.
Why would only be snow over there? I'd probably figure that out.
Of course. Birds always fly south in the winter.
There's the green eyes again.
Sylvester was horrified. Can't we take the bus?
Another old joke.
No way, said Tweety, laughing. The cat argued and argued, but Tweety wouldn't listen to him.
That's Tweety for you.
Sylvester wanted to keep up the little game. So, at last, he climbed up into the tree. Start your engines and
another funky music track.
Chirped Tweety. Sylvester flapped his wings. He flapped very hard. Then he shut his eyes and hopped off the branch.
That ends in disaster, obviously.
There was an old bed spring lying in the bushes nearby. Granny had thrown it there until it could be carted away to the dump.
Normally, you just place it on the curb.
Came sailing through the air, and boing! He landed right on the bed spring and bounced way up again, just like an athlete on a trampoline.
An interesting comparison. Well, I'm not quite the athlete myself.
Sylvester zoomed by. I think, he said, I saw a putty tat.
I taught a putty tat.
Up into the air went the dizzy cat, and finally he came down. Splash! Right in the middle of the duck pond. Sylvester plopped and plopped, and splashed and sputtered, and swallowed half the duck pond.
Doesn't look like I did that.
Help! Help! He gasped. This stuff is wet. He had lost his cardboard beak. He had lost his tail feathers. And the water quickly washed away his coat of paint.
Bet you saw that coming.
It's you, said Tweety. What a surprise.
It's obviously you've been sarcastic.
Stop being surprised and help me, Sylvester sobbed. I can't swim.
Didn't sound like I was sobbing.
Oh, I'll rescue you, said Tweety. But first, we'll have to make a deal. He flew over to Sylvester and whispered something in the cat's ear. Sylvester was clinging for dear life to a floating branch. Okay, he gurgled. I'll do anything you say. Just get me out of here. There was a long vine twisted around a nearby tree. The little bird put a loop on one end. Then he took it in his beak, flew over the pond.
Isn't that pathetic? Little canary had to save me.
Now just haul yourself in, he said. And don't forget the bargain we made.
Ugh, look at that.
The next day, Granny came home. She parked her car and hurried toward the house. I do hope Sylvester behaved himself, she thought. When she stepped in the door, she got a big surprise. There was Tweety, resting happily on the couch, nibbling birdseed cookies. And there was Sylvester, locked up inside the little bird cage. It was a tight
It looks
fit,
much worse than a cartoon.
Sylvester didn't really mind, because he was safe from Tweety at last.
Doesn't even say that's all, folks, at the end or anything. Here we go. I can't imagine Fruit Thrilling doing a cartoon like this. I don't think you would have approved of the storyline. Anyway, it's pretty neat how I got to do one of these read-along reviews for a change. Maybe some of us other Looney Tunes will get a chance to, so stay tuned here to see.